Hey, welcome back to another Just 5 Mins. I think it's been a couple of weeks or more, hasn't it? I didn't get any sort of emails or anything saying, come on, David, get another podcast out. I know you're all dying for another podcast, or not. I'm just in a tiny little room talking to myself, and that's fine. That's fine. At least I don't answer myself yet. So anyway, moving on. What have we got? Well, get a grip, and it's free. Everything is free now, don't you know? And this is from the good old folks at JetBrains, the people who make WebStorm. I think WebStorm was one of the first products I used from JetBrains. I really like their stuff, but the problem was, I mean, even though I had WebStorm, I think I got a deal with it or something. You obviously have to pay for the products. What a strange thing that might be. But obviously, when you're just fiddling around and not commercially doing stuff, or even if you are commercial, but it's really, a hobby, it's a lot of money for these things, like Rider, JetBrains Rider for .NET development. Really good. And ironically, when was it? About a month or two back or whatever it was, JetBrains also basically made that free. Again, free for non-commercial. And to be honest, if I was starting to make money writing apps or doing whatever with their tools, I would have no problem at all paying for that sort of stuff. But obviously, it gives you that foundation, that opening to be able to use personally, I think are really powerful tools. And just a little aside, Microsoft dropped Visual Studio for the Mac. I think they just found it was just too difficult to keep them in sync. There's nothing wrong with Visual Studio. In fact, there's a new pre-release version of, I think, what is it? Is it, because obviously we're already in 2025. I think it's Visual Studio Insiders 2026 or something. But if I've lost my page, I do apologize. It is a professional podcast, honest. But anyway, yeah, so VS Code, nothing wrong with it. I love it. I do most of my work in there still. But things like JetBrains, they truly have embraced, cross-platform. So Rider, for instance, because .NET fundamentally is cross-platform. No, I mean, you can still write Windows-specific stuff, but generally with what was .NET Core, now they just call it .NET. Where I think we're up to nearly version 10 out. We're on 9 at the moment. It is cross-platform. So JetBrains Rider is fully cross-platform. Linux, Apple, and obviously Windows. Same goes for their other tools as well. But what I'm ranting on about today is JetBrains. I love this product from the day that I had a quick trial with it a few years ago. DataGrip. Get a grip. And it's what it is. It's essentially, if you've used MySQL Workbench or SQL Server Management Studio, it's an IDE for your databases, but it is so much more. And they've literally in the last couple of days just released that as a freebie. When I say free, again, non-commercial. I'm sure they don't mind if it's like little hobby projects and stuff. And again, if you start to make money out of this stuff, I would not hesitate to pay for it. But anyway, the reason I like DataGrip is I think the latest version of SQL Management Studio does have source control integration, or was going to, or there's a beta version. But they're in there straight away. DataGrip has got source control built in. So you're writing your queries, you're doing your whatever. All of those things can be source controlled, but also literally within that application itself. You're not having to go to a separate bit, because you can always source control stuff, using Git command line or something like that. But that's the idea, is that it's all integrated. This is the key bit. but also you can deal with so many more data sources. Okay, so you've got your typical Microsoft SQL, you've got MySQL, MariaDB, which was the open source fork of MySQL when Oracle bought it and all that sort of stuff. But there is so much more, and not only just relational databases. You can go to Apache Cassandra, you can connect to that, Apache Hive, BigQuery, from Google and all that sort of stuff, DynamoDB, all the NoSQL like MongoDB and Cosmos DB and all of those things. Also, which is really useful, if you do use the embedded version of SQLite, although don't just think of SQLite as just an embedded database. There are services that provide SQLite as a cloud-hosted environment. But yeah, you've got SQLite, you've got so many other data sources that you can connect to. One is a bit of a specific one for me, or if you use SAP, you can also connect to SAP HANA. Now, I don't know. I'm not against HANA Studio because it's the Eclipse, wasn't it? That was it. Eclipse IDE that years and years and years ago. But it's a bit fiddly, isn't it? Come on, be honest. But you can, from DataGrip, connect to SAP HANA. So lovely. And you've got all of that goodness. You've got source control. You've got all of those things. But it's a common, lovely interface. And I haven't checked this out yet, so bear with me. It does have the AI capabilities. Now, I'm not sure. I think it's their own where they're connecting into other LLMs, but anyway, I need to take a look at that. But it is a great tool. I'm not sponsored by JetBrains, by the way. I just love their tools, and like I said, I've used WebStorm, Rider a little bit. I've tried to get into Rust development of late, but it's not going that quick. But anyway, I just haven't got enough time. But anyway, the idea is that most of their suite of tools now are free for non-commercial use. And like I say, DataGrip is the most recent one, and I think it is really, personally, I think it's a great database tool. But it's more than just, I just want to write a query. There is so much more to it. And now this free for non-commercial uses really open the doors to use these tools. PyStorm, it's PyCharm, it's WebStorm, isn't it? Come on, David. PyCharm for Python. That's the stuff that I used ages ago, but that is also part of the free non-commercial stuff as well. So these days, obviously, there's a lot of Python stuff happening out there. Brilliant IDE. So can't sort of say enough about it. Anyway, that's what I've got for this time around. So take care. I'll try to get back onto, maybe a weekly cadence of these things, but who knows, time permitting. So take care wherever you are in the world, and have a good day, a good week, and I will catch you on the next one.